Mama Mondays is sponsored by Colorado Connected, a website full of ideas for parents. And now, here are the mamas.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Mama Mondays. Well look, everybody knows that parenting is not easy, okay? As a parent, you have your mind and your thoughts, but as the kids, they have a whole mind of their own. And I was looking at this the other day, and Jeff, you and I just touched on it. There's a shift in these younger generations where they want to change the narrative when it comes to their independence. They don't want to get married, and they do not want to have kids. Are you guys okay with that? Because I see it more and more and more. Do you see that trend?
I know having babies in the U.S. is on a downslope.
Yeah.
But I don't know where the disconnect comes in, and I don't even want to use the word disconnect, but is it financial? Are they realizing that young that financially it would be a burden on them and it's not worth the joy of having children? Or is it just the roles are changing? Because if you have a young girl that's just trying to be a young girl playing kitchen or being a mom, the agenda now is you don't have to be a housewife. I'm not pushing that, but it's like some people want that role, and it's frowned upon in certain standards or cultures of society.
That's
just to
very
say,
true.
I'm a woman. I just want to be a woman and have kids and just be a housewife. That people don't like that answer anymore, and I think people are a little bit shamed by just wanting to do that. And I think there's pressure on women to go out and get a career and do their own thing and prove their worth. When in some cultures it's just you're the mom, and I love it, like my mom and my wife,
I would be a housewife any day.
What? Yeah,
right, but you know what I'm saying about how people get upset about that.
I totally agree with you. Shame on them.
Right.
Shaming when women shame other women because they're like, especially young girls who are like, they want their little baby dolls and they feel like they want to be mommies and they want that when they grow up, and then to be shamed like, well, what are you going to do professionally? Like, I'm not saying that these women should never have ambition or never have a profession, but I agree with you. I feel like it's kind of, in certain places, a lot of times now it's like, oh, you want to just be just a mom,
Right.
Just a mom.
Which is the
Just
hardest
a
job of
mom.
all.
It's the hardest job of all.
Job of all.
Yeah. I think my kids will have kids, but I did have a conversation with my daughter, and I was like, how old do you want to be when you have kids?
I actually did this question for you because you've got the older kids, and I wanted to see where they're at with this subject.
My son is really like, I know he won't have kids until he's in his 30s. He's very much like, I want to get into my career and travel and finish school. And that's all I have right now, and I'm selfish, and I'm only thinking about DJ, and I'm like, great answer, don't have kids while you're selfish, because that goes away. So live your life and enjoy yourself. And then I had an honest and open conversation with my daughter, and if you choose not to have babies, I also respect that too. I want you to be happy and do what you want to do with your life. And
would you be okay with your daughter if she said, Mom, it's not my thing, I'm not having babies?
Inside, I would not.
Yeah.
It's tough. Inside, but and when I had the conversation with her, I was fully aware of the can of worms I was opening. And I was like, she could say, I don't want to have kids. Thank you for saying that, Mom. Now I feel confident and comfortable telling you that, I don't want them kids.
And it would hurt you, though.
Inside, I would have cried. And I would have cried when she left my room after the conversation, real tears. But she was like, I want to have kids.
She does want to have kids,
She said, just not right now.
Both my girls are like, I'm never getting married. And
how did you feel?
I'm never going to have kids. Now, granted, they're still really young, and maybe at some point we all said that.
I did.
I was like,
you said you
what?
didn't want kids?
Oh, I was like, I'll never have kids. I don't like them.
Oh, well.
And then I got pregnant.
That happened.
Then you discovered how to make a kid.
Yeah.
That changed the game.
I think a lot of people don't want kids when they have them,
Okay, does your daughter, and your daughter's about to get married.
Yes.
So she's getting married.
Yes. She goes back and forth.
What do you mean?
Well, she's established in her career, and I think but she has this really, and it might be a generational thing. She has this real ability to get happy, she sees work as work and her life as her life. Like, she can make that separation. I never could. That being said, she's like, yeah, I mean, I'll have kids. It'll be fine. But no big deal. I'm like,
big deal.
But I'm like, your career, you're doing pretty good. She goes, meh. That's that, and this is this. Like they're two different. They don't play together in her mind. And I think that's similar to a lot in her generation. Now, she's 27, so those of you out there that are in that bracket.
It's the Gen Z.
I think the Gen Zers
The Gen Z have different ideas.
I think I think they're just fearful. I think Gen Z in general is a little more fearful about all of these big things. And
I think it's more than that, though. I think they're an overly informed generation. And so they have access to, which is what's causing the fear. But they're overly informed. They see, like, when our parents were having children, it was a very different economy, and you could stay at home and raise a family. I think more women are working now out of necessity. And maybe not just because, like, I am driven and I would work even if my husband was like, stay home. I'd be like, okay, like a little bit. But I think kids are overly informed and they know, like, and where's our world going, and presidents and like all the things.
All right, they have concerns and information. Two very dangerous things.
I personally think, and I'm going to be brave and say this.
Information. I
personally think, and I'm going to be brave and say this, that if more moms stayed at home to be moms, our kids would be in a much better place. And
I agree 110%.
Yes, and like with your wife, I commend your wife because it is the daily attention, the daily affection, the daily focus on those kids that makes the difference. Yeah. It is for me, and I wish I could be home with my girls every single day, and in my life are my girls. But like in your wife's case, that's awesome, Jeff.
Yeah, and she's a hustler too. I don't want, paint the picture she just sits at home all day. Because moms don't just sit at home all day, even if that's all you do.
You're a prisoner.
Right, but she does social media, she's working, she's doing other things while juggling with the kids, which gets frustrating.
Yeah.
And so she's got to hustle because we need to hustle. We got to pay our bills, inflation, money, and all that.
Yep.
But I think, we brought up something interesting about, like, I think social media, again, going back to that, it's so divisive, just with politics and culture, and I think a lot of the younger generation is like, I'm not bringing a child into this world where we're at each other's throats, and I really don't think the world is like that. I think social media perpetuates a lot of that hate, and if you get out and talk to people and you need help just face to face with somebody, people are more willing to help than they are not. That's just my opinion of the world.
Agreed.
Same.
Yeah,
we like each other more than we hate each other, but
no, we do.
Social media it's meant to do exactly what it does.
I do believe that children need that constant guidance, that constant love, that constant support.
Sure.
I think it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And yes, Jeff, I'm sure your wife is amazing, but come on, being a mom 24/7 is tough.
No, I think about like
tough.
in my early years, raising my children, I didn't take jobs where I didn't have the flexibility because I wanted to cook them breakfast, take them to school. So I was, and because I was so young, I was afforded some opportunities to be a mom. And it made a difference.
It makes a difference.
And they still, like, they're adults and they're like, and you don't cook anymore. Like they have, I'm like, you
at some point,
like what?
At some point,
what are we doing, you guys?
Be your slave.
Like, I'm not.
They'll come over and they're like, she's 27, the refrigerator gets open. She's like, didn't you make any lasagna or anything? Like, where's all this stuff?
That's funny because my kids are the same. They're 5 and 7. I'm like, you could get your own snack. But now I'm just thinking, when I go to visit my parents in Chicago, I'm like, Mom, what's up? You got anything in there? So I'm still at 46. I'm still that guy.
It's a guy thing.
I do it too. You have to find the pleasure, and I think that's the key. I don't know if every generation knows that there's pleasure in being a parent as well.
No,
it is a
we
tough
talk
job.
about the hard
It's a tough job.
The heart stuff, the soul stuff.
But that's where the heart is.
Stuff, azul stuff. is the best part.
Like, they love me and they love spending time with me, and that's so beautiful.
Absolutely.
That's the best part of being a parent,
It
right?
is.
And that good thing is it never stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they love you and they like you.
For all of you parents at home, do you have questions? Do you want us to touch on any subject out there? You can join the conversation. Just send us an email, mycoco@9news.com. We would love to hear from you. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right,